Hello everybody, how's it going? I'm the Tomeister and welcome back to 5 Builders, 1 City. Guys, in the last episode we built a really awesome theme park, but in this episode I'm going to go all the way over back to Urglewood, which I have not touched since round 1 of this series. And what I'd like to do in this episode is expand on the town. Now, Urglewood really hasn't changed much since the very beginning of the series. It's kind of been a quaint little town in its own corner of the map this whole time. But I think, with all of the new industries that have been laid down and with the university now being, where is it anyway? Are we level 5 yet? Okay, well, it's a level 4 university. It's getting up there in the ranks. Of course, a ton of students are going to be moving in and needing places to live. So I think that we should expand Urglewood and yeah. So we're going to get started on that. But first, if I go into my campus area like I just was, we're getting pretty close on student capacity. And I'm thinking that might have something to do with the campus attractiveness being so low. So let's go ahead and let's place down a couple of dorms here. So I see that we have a little bit of room over in this corner of the university. So I'm just going to sprawl off a little street off to the side here, and let's go ahead and place down a couple of dorms. Oh my god, guys, I never expanded on the university zone. Oh shoot. So all this time this track and field wasn't really contributing to the campus attractiveness or anything like that. So that probably has something to do with the attractiveness being so low. Alright, well, luckily that was an easy fix. Let's go ahead and place down a couple of dorms. And, okay, great. So now we have a capacity of 3,500. And look at that, our university attractiveness has already gone up by, a decent amount. So I think we should be able to achieve level 5 here, maybe by the end of this episode, who knows. And yeah, with the track and field now being in the university zone, this is probably going to have a big factor once we start winning some events, which seems to be going pretty good. Pretty good, We've only had 1 loss this season, so that is awesome. Alright, so another thing I'd like to get started on in this episode too, guys, is City Planner has started kind of an industrial zone over in this corner of the town. I'd like to expand on that because we have a couple of factories left that we can place down. I'm not going to place every factory that we have left. I still want to leave some work to be done for the other creators. But I'd like to place down at least a couple more factories in this corner. So we're going to turn Urglewood into not only a university town, but a very prosperous industrial town too. So people can just graduate from university and literally cross the street and have a job at one of the local plants. But before we get into that, I'm going to have to check if all of the factory zones are producing enough raw materials to be able to support some additional factories. So we'll have to see if we can't, expand on some of these industrial areas to produce like some more wood, for example, or more paper. We'll see about that as we progress in this episode. But first, if you look down here, we have some residential demand that needs to be addressed. So what I want to do is expand on this side of the highway. We're kind of trapped in this bowl here. And what I'm going to do is place down some streets over in this corner of town and make this like a nice, posh, newer neighborhood. Yeah, another thing that I noticed before starting this episode as well, so in terms of policies, we already have a couple of green policies that encompasses this entire area. So we have recycling, encourage biking, and recycle plastic. So these all have a contributing factor on how this area develops. But I'd like to instate some new policies, or maybe not some new policies, maybe let's make this area self-sufficient, this entire residential neighborhood that I'm going to place down here. So let's go ahead and place down some biking roads, because we are encouraging biking, of course. And this will save a little bit of money too without, we won't have to place down some public transportation over in this corner of the map when everybody's biking around. We'll have a small neighborhood over here, and then another small one over here. The terrain's a little hilly though. You might see some people with some pretty crazy landscaping. And I don't want to go too crazy now. We don't want to cause another death wave. It's something that a couple of the other creators had to deal with. So let's try not to go too intense with the residentials. So I'm going to pause the simulation right now, and I'm just going to spend a little bit of time laying down some zonage. Then we'll have to provide all the necessary services. Okay, and I'm gonna go ahead and place down a couple of stores as well. So, maybe some little neighborhood corner stores here and there. Maybe some grocery stores. Whatever it'll pop up here. And then to encourage some higher land value, let's go ahead and place down some nice parks. Maybe a nice park in this cul-de-sac kind of thing. And then a dog park over in this corner. And then a nice little park over here. And then as far as schools go, we should maybe place down an elementary school. I don't think I'll place down a high school. The high school is already pretty close. Or is it? Where'd the high school go? Oh, there it is. Oh my god. Well, the capacity for the whole map's pretty low. But we're still good. Or no, we're not good. We're under by about 200. But Erglewood's a little small for a second high school. It would be an awful drive for everybody around the map. Maybe I'll help out Sardis a little bit. It looks like there's a lack of high schools over in this corner. But I feel like I think somebody had plopped one down at some point. Maybe here? No. I don't know, man. Is there supposed to be something in these zones here? I feel like there is. I don't know, maybe it's something not load. All of the other buildings are here. Well, let's go ahead. I'm going to help out Zardis and place down a high school. Bam, right over here, right next to this big government building here, City Hall. That should help out our capacity a little bit. And I mean, this is quite central to the map, so even if people are scattered all over the map who need to go to high school, it's not too far of a drive. All right, so we got our residential and commercial and everything placed down. I'm gonna go ahead and lay down a new zone for over here. And this zone is gonna be self-sufficient. So we're gonna continue on with Erglewood's green legacy. We're gonna make this new neighborhood Glade Square. We're gonna make this a self-sufficient zone. Yeah. All right, now in terms of water, okay, great. We already have some pipes coming over in this corner. I believe all the water pipes in the map are connected now, so I don't really have to worry about capacity. Availability is getting a little low, but it's not low enough to really be concerned just yet. And as far as power goes, this is quite simple. Actually, what I'm going to do is take these power lines, which are not really contributing to anything, or they might be. I don't know if this would count, but I'm just going to take these power lines and run them all the way across. And I suppose maybe bring them in the back of the school, and then everything will start eventually expanding. Alright, so I think we're ready to go, guys. We have all the necessary services, except maybe a medical clinic would help this area out. And maybe a fire station too. Because, yeah, this area is pretty woodsy. Fire station's probably a good idea. Oh yeah, maybe a police station as well. Would raise the land value a bit more. Right here. Alrighty. So now it's just a waiting game, really. Yeah, these guys need some power, but I pretty much have to wait till the town expands. Oh, this guy doesn't have any water. What's going on there? Oh yeah, okay. He's just out of range of this water pipe. There you go. Awesome. We got some nice houses plopping up here. Not too worried about the power just yet. There we go. We got some houses building. We got some houses plopping up closer to the school. So I'm going to let that be for a few minutes. And let's go take a peek over at our industrial area. So what I kind of had planned, so this is a service road that city planner placed down, and I'm going to bring that road along this train track here. And this is exactly what this is. It's a service road that, you know, any business can just go up and open up shop. It's kind of like a dedicated industrial area that we have going on here. And we'll have this industrial road going all the way over here in this part of town. So if there's any workers from this zone that need a job, there's going to be plenty of work over here. Then we'll have a long commute. And I mean, this rural road, I think I'm just going to get rid of that. This isn't really going anywhere. We're not going to have enough time to really expand on this. And same thing over here. At that time, I wasn't really sure what this whole area was going to look like, so I just kind of placed down a bunch of roads, not really having a clear idea. But with this being the last, or my last episode of this series, then yeah, I'm just going to remove that. Okay, so factories. Let's get into factories. And this kind of worries me. Nobody has power over here. For some reason, there's like nobody who's moving in. I'm just going to go ahead and place down some temporary power lines. And then everybody has power except these guys. But maybe if I just bridge the gap with a little park. Maybe a Japanese garden. There we go. Perfect. Everybody has power now. Everybody's happy. Okay, so factories. And that's pretty much taking care of the residential demand too. So factories. We have 7 factories that we can place down. Now, before I place anything down, like I said, I want to make sure that we're producing enough, for this example, wood or plain timber, I believe it is, and paper, to be able to support this furniture factory. Now, there's not really production rate, 2,400 units per week. Now, this is where the game gets a little complicated. The industrial DLC is a bit complicated to follow, even for me. Like, I don't have a ton of experience playing with this DLC, but yeah. So let's go ahead and look at the birch timber processing plant. And let's see how this area is going. So, okay, we're outputting no paper and just 8 tons of plain timber, which doesn't really give me an idea if that's a lot or not. And is this total output, or is that just raw forestry products that are being outputted? I'll have to look into this. Produce resources until next level. Wow, so we're almost at level 5 for this factory. See, this is the thing, right? There's no clear indication of what a factory is outputting versus like if I was to place down this factory, this furniture store, how much is this going to consume of our factories? You pretty much have to plop it down and see. But anyways, production rate 2,400 units per week. Freight truck count, so there's 10 of them that are included with this factory. And wow, it's actually quite small. So where do we want to place this factory? I want to keep it around this industrial area, of course. And maybe plop it up on top of this hill here to make sure that it's nice and, you know, properly graded. So I'm going to have a street that's going to spawn off of here. And then it's going to turn like this. Go up this hill. And it's going to stop right there. And then we can place our factory up on top of the hill, along with some storage buildings. Now this is not a big factory really, so I'm not gonna need like a ton of huge warehouses. So just one warehouse should probably do. And let's fill this up with forestry products. We want to have enough forestry products for here. Okay, and let's go ahead and provide water to the plant, and there we go. So it's gonna take a little bit to know how much of both of these resources that we're gonna need to produce furniture. Of course, no matter how much or how little you're producing from your extractor buildings, meaning like, you know, the forestry industry that's going on over in the other corner of the map. So even if we're producing hardly enough to support these factories, eventually you will have accumulated enough to produce some furniture. It's just going to be very slow. But yeah, kind of like the GPU shortage, right? It's all supply and demand. Actually, you know what? Just to be 100% sure, I'm going to stretch out this road just a little tiny bit. We're going to make a left turn, go all the way here, and I'm going to place down some warehouses. Just to be 100% sure that we have everything covered. Maybe just some small warehouses are probably good enough. No, I'm not even gonna place down 3 of them. So we'll have plain timber in this one, and we'll have paper in this one. Perfect. So we'll give this a little bit before the trucks can drive all the way over here to service these buildings. But in the meantime, let's see what else we can build. Now, like I said, I don't want to place down every factory. I just want to place down just a couple of them. Toy factory. I know this is really small, but it does require quite a bit of resources. So plastic, paper, and plain timber again. So a lot of plain timber is going to be coming this way. And this is kind of cool. It kind of looks like from this picture, and I believe, you know, I plopped this down a couple of times in a few of my series. This is like a historical looking building, so it might look nice kind of in town. So maybe if we place this where's some nice flat land where we actually have some room. See, this is kind of up on a hill. It's gonna kind of ruin the look of this building. But on the bottom of this hill, I think that looks pretty good there. Now we have some power lines going through the building. We don't want that. So I'm going to pause the simulation real quick and just do some slight adjustments to our power grid. Something like that. And sure, something like that. Right through a tree. That's probably not safe. Here, let's just readjust this once more. So we'll have this power line going like this, and then like this, and like this. Perfect. All right, and same thing with this factory. So I'm gonna go ahead and place down a couple of storage buildings. Nothing too crazy. Maybe a couple of open air storage units. And a small warehouse. So this one's going to have, what does this need? Plastics. Yeah, let's have plastics coming into this building. And then plain timber and paper. I have a feeling that I think we have 2 timber processing places. So we have this one here that was placed pretty early game, and then yes, we do have a sawmill over here that was placed by Imperial Jedi, I believe. So we have that, but I'm just worried that that's not going to be enough. We'll check a little later in this episode how production is going, but it looks like everybody's struggling a little bit to get some materials. So animal products. We're all out for the car factory. Oh, must be for the leather. And then plain timber and plastics are in shortage over here. So we might want to do something about that. Is there any forestry that we can take advantage of in this area? Or I suppose, we're playing with mods and cheats here, so there's no problem with just playing. There's no problem with just placing down some trees. Although, look at all the woods we have over here, guys. Let's take a look. If I go into my natural resources, we got some pretty lush areas over in that corner. I mean, there's nothing really stopping me of making some more lush areas. Like over here. Oh, wow. Okay, yeah, this is probably the best spot on the map, really, to have a sawmill. Or over here, too, somehow. I don't know what's going on with the trees, but anyway. Maybe I'm missing some trees in my asset list. Okay, well. Oh, okay, so it looks like we got a load of plain timber. We got 8 tons, or we may have gotten more than that, and we have already used a little bit, but we're still waiting on some paper. Alright guys, so I know what's going to happen here. I think I'm going to place down all of the rest of the factories, if I can fit them wherever they go, and then I'm going to check at the end whether or not we have any supply and demand issues for feeding all of our factories. If we do, then I'll address them towards the end of this episode, and if not, then it will be all set to go. So let's see what we have for the next factory in the list, and this is a printing press. So we just need some plastics and some paper, and this is quite a small factory too. And a printing press is kind of, this as well looks like a more oh no, that's Toy Factory. So yeah, the printing press as well looks like a more historic kind of building, which should be more or less in town. It would look pretty cool downtown, really, but I think maybe on top of this hill here looks like a pretty decent location for it. So let's go ahead and place that down here. And again, I'm going to have to recombobulate some of my power lines, but on second thought, these don't even really need to be here. So I can get rid of this little string, and the rest of the city still has power, so awesome. Uh-oh, do we have a death wave coming? Meh, we'll leave it as it is. So the printing press, because we just need some paper and plastics, which have already spawned in, that's great. There's some warehouses over here. I don't really think that we need another set of warehouses for this building. So we'll just leave it at that. And move on to the next factory. And this one is probably one of the biggest factories, the electronics factory. And this is pretty massive. So for these bigger factories, I think they're a little too large for the city of Erglewood. Although we have expanded quite a bit, I still think it's still kind of a little town, guys, in my view. In my heart, Erglewood is a small little university town. As much as it can expand, I think that some factories are just better suited for other areas. And the first area that comes to mind is the airport. So the cargo hub, there's no real way of telling how busy this is, but judging by all the planes flying around, it is quite busy, I think. What I think would be a good option is to place down some factories in this area right over here, you know, close to the airport. It's easy to export all the materials and stuff. And then maybe we can spend some time cleaning up this area and improving it too. So yeah, let's get into that. So I'm gonna pause the simulation because I want to get rid of all these power lines here. There, let's just clean that up, and I'm gonna place down maybe a park or something in the middle here just to bridge the gap. Now, for our factories, there we go. So the electronics factory, as you can see, it's quite massive, and I don't really want to place it too close over here, although it doesn't really matter because this runway is kind of heading right in front of it. But yeah, I suppose we can go ahead and place it in this region. So I'm gonna go and place down some small industrial roads. Here, let's first of all upgrade these streets. And then I'm gonna extend this street over like this. And then this will kind of be like a secondary service road, because I don't want a ton of truck traffic like clogging up this section of road. So I'm gonna put down, oh crap, it's this orientation, is it? All right, well, not a problem, because I think it works out perfectly if I put it like this. All right, cool, there's no like fence or anything in the road. I was kind of worried about this curve, but that actually looks pretty decent. The only thing though, there's no street going over like this way, and I might want to expand on that. Let me readjust. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna get rid of this building, and I'm gonna redo this bit of road. So rather than going out that way, I'm gonna turn this road going this way. And then this will go somewhere else. And then we can have this road coming up and joining our service road. Or, you know what? Let's do this. So I'm going to leave that like it is. Place down the factory, just to make sure I have enough clearance. And there you have it. I don't think this will impede on any traffic or anything like that. And you know what? I think I could simply join this up like so. Okay, and because this factory is so huge, you know, requiring plastics, glass, and metal, so these are quite a little bit more complex to produce, I'm gonna place down some warehouses to make sure that we have enough stock, and so we're not constantly running dry. Ooh, this fits perfectly right here. That's pretty cool. And these are just general industrial buildings, so I'm gonna go ahead and place down this large warehouse right here. So this one, do I even need a large warehouse? I probably don't. I don't know how much stock we're really gonna need here. It didn't even destroy these buildings. I think I got anarchy on. Yeah, let's maybe downsize for now at least. So let's plop down some medium warehouses. Gonna plop down 2 medium warehouses. Let's have 3. There we go. So what do we need here? So plastics. What else? Glass and metals. All right. So the next factory is down. And then what do we have? A clothing factory. This as well is quite a large building. But you know what? It fits. It fits right around here. What do you guys think? Does that look good? Yeah. You know, gonna have some nice new shoes. I think that looks all right there. So what is this? Animal products, crops, and plastics. So everything needs plastics, guys. But luckily, Sardis made this oil production facility quite large. I think we should be good for plastics. All right, and next up, we have a soft paper factory. This, oh my God, I'm pretty sure this is one of the bigger factories in the game. But this doesn't really look like the type of factory that you would find close to an airport. You know, airports are usually filled with like these giant warehouses looking things. So maybe a food factory would be appropriate over here. But we also have a ton of room on the other side of this main road here. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll create another industrial zone over here. Maybe I'll just place it down like this. Nice and simple. You know, there's not going to be a ton of traffic coming down this road anyways. But then again, you know what? We not only have that building to place down, we're going to place down some more storage buildings too. I'm going to place a service road going down this way. And then place down our factory. Why not over here? So food factory, we need a ton of different materials too, including a ton of plastic. So paper, what else? Flour. We need some flour and some meat. And then we have a sneaker factory as well. So you know what? This is kind of cool because this now becomes like, you know, a giant clothing type factory. You know, all of these buildings are kind of clothing related. And I think maybe it'd be a good idea to place all of these buildings like in one campus. That might work out a little better. Yeah, let's do that. Let's make an office park looking thing, guys. So I'm going to destroy this. Okay, I'm going to get rid of this building. And I'm going to keep that there for now, but I'm going to move it in just a second here. So this entire chunk of land has now become an office, not really an office park, but like a huge production facility for different clothing and things like that. So let's go ahead and I'm going to place a giant straightaway going like this. And this is going to turn in and come into the flight club, which I'm going to upgrade to an industrial road. There's probably not going to be a ton of traffic coming through here, so it doesn't really matter if all these buildings are kind of branching off of the same street. And then I don't want to cause any bottlenecking though, because of this street. You know, I don't want to have too many intersections coming here, so I think I might just kind of just cul-de-sac this thing on the very end. Or at least maybe provide like one more street coming in. Like so. All right. Now, first of all, let's move the clothing factory. Let's place it right here so you can see the nice logo from the highway. And I'm going to leave everything in this area as it is. So let's place down our factories first, and then we'll worry about having enough storage afterwards. So then this building, we can kind of say that it's part of the same plant. You know, this is just like the shoe department, I guess. And then last, we have a food factory, which is not really part of the same collection of buildings. So maybe we can place this down. I suppose we could place it down in the same park. So this is like an industrial park. And then we'll have this turning in like so. The last factory should fit snugly like this. Perfect. Now let's place down all the required warehouses. So let's check here. What do we need? We need some animal products, crops, and plastic, of course. Maybe we should just have a giant plastic warehouse in this area because everything seems to need plastic. So let's go ahead and do that. Place this down and go plastics. And what does this one have? This warehouse has plastics as well. I'm gonna move this over to the other side of the street and then nudge this plant a little bit closer to this one so it looks a bit more natural, I guess. Okay, so animal products. Smaller warehouse, and there was a third type of material to crops. So we'll fill this on with okay, yeah, I suppose we can't really fill this with crops. We'll just leave it as it is. So yeah, there was crops and animal products. Maybe I'll have animal products for both of these because I believe, yeah, animal products are needed by this building as well. So on that thought, I'm gonna remove this, place down a bigger warehouse, and then we'll have our animal products in this warehouse. Well guys, this is looking pretty good so far, I must say. I think anyways. And this adds like quite a bit of depth too to the airport. You know, normally around an airport you have a bunch of warehouses and these types of industrial buildings, so kind of acts as a filler at the same time. Okay, and you know what we haven't been doing so far is placing down some warehouses for finished products. So the products that have been already produced by these factories, you know, we need a place to store them before they can be shipped out to consumers. So let's maybe place down a few of these and then we'll just fill them up with some finished product. So if we go all the way down, commercial goods. We'll make sure to have lots of storage for that. Okay. Now, oh yeah guys, and another thing that I just noticed too, so we only have one post office for this entire map, and it was placed down by City Planner over here, as well as a sorting facility. And this is also the type of thing that you find in these industrial warehouse areas. So let's go ahead and place one down, although we're kind of running low on space at this point. I might have to rearrange some things. But I left a little bit of room in this nook where I can run a street. And then we can have the postal sorting facility over in this corner. Here, let me fix this up. So if I extend this a little bit further, I can have a straightaway coming through here. That turns like that, and then this section can go here. And our sorting facility fits nicely in this corner. And then of course our post office needs to be easily accessible by the public. So I'm gonna go ahead and place that down right here at the, I guess the mouth of this industrial area. So guys, a little issue I have with this whole industrial park is it kind of looks like everything was plopped down willy-nilly. And I find that there should be some filler. And let me just fix this road because it's bothering me. There, that weird curve, you know. But yeah, I feel like this whole area kind of needs some filler buildings. And to do that, what I'm going to do is expand on the airport zone. All right, so this is going to include this whole office park, or this industrial zone. And one thing too that I noticed, I'm gonna institute this policy. If I go down to, oh, I think it's a city planning, might as well have some airplane tours, shall we not? So what the airplane tours do is it increases building plane count, so there's more planes, entertainment, and city attractiveness at the cost of noise pollution by 50%. So that's quite a bit. I don't know if it's going to affect these residents who are nearby, but maybe not. You know, there's not a ton of stuff around this airport. So I'm just gonna go ahead and leave that like that. But yeah, what I was going to say, so first of all, what I think is a little weird are all these giant skyscraper hotels that we have going on over here. So one thing I'm gonna do is ban high rises in this area, all right? I think it's city planning. Yeah, high rise ban. So, and another reason why I'm doing that is in order to place down some filler buildings. I don't want like some dirty industrial buildings plopping up all around here because, you know, it's a somewhat modern office park. So I'm gonna place down some offices, but I don't want them to become skyscrapers. So due to that ban high-rise policy, we're not gonna get some very big skyscrapers up in this area. So let's go ahead and place down some filler buildings. Like so. Maybe over here, maybe just a little bit there. Oh crap, and I just deleted an essential power line. But everything's connected now. So this warehouse bridged the gap between these two airports, which is great. So what I think I'm gonna do is just run a power line from over here to this building. And then power lines can sometimes look cool, guys. So I think, you know, if I lay down some power lines going to about here, it would look nice. There, and last but not least, let's get some water pipes laid down. Let's make sure that everybody's getting water. Okay, and there you go, guys. So yeah, everybody's gonna be complaining of not enough special goods for a little bit. I think, I'm hoping I didn't kill the production chain of this entire map. Oh shoot. No, I didn't want some European buildings to come up. Let's change that to vanilla. There, is that gonna like get rid of the European buildings? Not that I have anything against European buildings, but okay, yeah, it's getting rid of all the European buildings, but I don't think they fit very well into a modern office park setting. And another thing too, guys, I think this area deserves some trees, you know? We want everything to be green and luscious, so let's place down some trees. I think I only included some default trees in this. Oh, maybe not. Oh no, that's good. The strength is a little too much. So let's place down some trees over here. Want this park to look modern and nice. You know, just adding some trees, man, it adds so much character and it beautifies these zones so much. There. I'm gonna try not to go too crazy. Okay, well, at this point, guys, we have one more factory to place down. And that is the soft paper factory. Okay, guys, so I think I'm actually going to hold off on the soft paper factory. I'm going to leave that up to the other creators if they want to place this down or not, because it is a behemoth. You know, it's, I don't know, the production rate is quite high, almost 8,000 units per week, so that's probably going to siphon a big chunk of our supply chain. You know, these buildings are having a lot of trouble keeping up with what looks like animal products. I think that's struggling quite a bit. If I go check up on these plants over here too, which one is it that needs animal products? Animal products always seems to be very empty, you know, when all of these buildings are operating. But we are definitely short on animal products, and I think that's because we only have a couple of pastures and one slaughterhouse. Although, yeah, it looks like we are outputting a little bit. Maybe I'm gonna place down a second one though, over in this general area. We'll try to keep everything in the same spot. So a slaughterhouse. We'll place down a second one right. Oh, it's just barely in the industrial zone. Okay, what's going on here? Okay, there. We'll move that just like that and place down the second slaughterhouse over here. So that should ramp up our production a little bit. I think, you know, it should be enough for the rest of the plants here. Awesome, so we got some modern offices sprawling up around this area. So I don't know, guys, what do you think of this little industrial section? I think it looks kind of cool. You know, when putting this into view with the airport, it certainly does add some character. All right, guys, well, we've accomplished quite a bit in this episode, a lot more than I expected I was going to. But man, this office park looks actually really nice. I think it fits well. So when you put the airport and everything into view, you know, everything kind of looks like it's in its natural spot. Now, we are getting quite a bit of bottlenecking going on over here, so let's address that real quick before ending this episode. I think this is the culprit. You know, this cargo airport, all of these vehicles seem to be going to that spot. So, yeah, we should be fixing that. Now, to do that, let's do this. I'm going to pause the simulation. I'm going to remove this building. Remove these two sections of roads. And I'm going to convert this into a one-way. Oh shoot, where are cars spawning out of this station? I think they come out, okay, they come out right there. So if I place down a road here, that's perfect. So just this single 2-lane road is going to branch into here. I'm going to upgrade this to a 3-lane one-way. Like so. And then what I'm going to do is come back over here into my industrial road and then convert all of this into a one-way. And yeah, that should do it. There's no like weird, impossible intersections. I think that should work out quite nicely. Now, really, the best solution would be to rip out this little interchange here and just build like a completely new intersection. But I think with the upgrades that were just done now, it should help out quite a bit. Oops, what did I screw up here? Oh my God, this whole one-way is going the wrong way. There, that should do it. And as far as the highway goes, maybe upgrading this section too would help into a 4-lane. So I guess I was kind of wrong about the traffic issue. I didn't really assume there was going to be a ton of traffic, but looks like that wasn't the case. And then same thing with here. You know, more lanes doesn't really equate to better traffic in a lot of cases, but I think it'll certainly help in this case. There we go. What's going on over here? Oh yeah, shoot. All right, well, I gotta move these buildings now. There's already enough traffic on this side of things, so I may just, where can I place these buildings down? Maybe I'm gonna have their own road. So this police station will go right over here, and the medical clinic will just be moved over here. And there you have it, guys. I think we've accomplished quite a bit in this episode. I think that's going to be enough for today. So anyway, guys, I really hoped you enjoyed this series, and I really hoped you enjoyed both, you know, my content as well as everybody else's. Everybody did such a great job on this entire map. I mean, it's gone from little towns here and there to a sprawling metropolis. I mean, we've covered a fair portion of the map. All the essential services have been placed down. All factories but one have been placed down. As we can see, Earlwood is doing quite well. This neighborhood has developed its way into a really nice suburban part of town. So guys, yeah, I'm really happy, guys. This was a really fun challenge. I hope that, you know, come season 2, you know, I don't even know if I'm supposed to spoil that or not. I mean, there is talks about a season 2 starting up in not too long. So I'm hoping that season 2 is going to be as successful as season 1, but you know, based on your feedback and stuff, guys, I think that you're enjoying this series very much, and you know, we'll continue doing it as long as you like it. So guys, I thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Also be sure to subscribe to not only my channel, but everybody else who has participated in this series. And yeah, guys, until the next episode, please take care.